Hey guys, this is Anime Ball Z here, and today we're going to be doing the 9th part of What If Symbiotes Were in Dragon Ball. Thanks for all of the support recently, I really appreciate it. Please like the video if you haven't already and subscribe, it's totally free and you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There's nothing much else I'd like to say in the intro, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Slick talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Steam is emitted from the area and the Saiyans all return to their base forms. Their wounds get healed but they still feel exhausted. They can't really heal that because they don't have energy. Their symbiotes have taken a lot of their stamina to heal their wounds, but then they each get a senzu beam from Krillin who arrives in front of them. They then heal and this brings the Cell saga to an end. They've done what they needed to do and future Trunks just returns to his timeline with the power that he has now. What has changed in this timeline is that Android 16 is still alive. He still has the self-destruction bomb, but they explore Dr. Gero's lab and retrieve his blueprints. Android 16's mind is reprogrammed and he just becomes an ally to the team. He is a completely mechanical android and he doesn't really have anything to do in the 7-year time skip. So he is at Capsule Corp and works as maintaining security there and in the cities. During this time, Goku and Vegeta both train while strengthening their symbiotes. Why eats chocolate and their bonds grow stronger and stronger during this time skip. Initially, Gohan doesn't move away from training to study. He continues to train with his father and during this training he receives his very own symbiote. This symbiote is none other than the yellow/orange symbiote Phage. This symbiote allows for him to grow stronger much faster in their training and so Gohan gets stronger really fast. He reaches his Cell Saga level of strength in about 8 months and continues to train for a few years. His symbiote Phage makes him train for a lot longer than in the canon timeline, but as he gets older the workload from school increases and he has to put more time into it. He trains very lightly as Goku and Phage encourage him to do so, however Phage is fine with acknowledging that Gohan wants to pursue his career instead of training to protect the Earth. Also Vegeta continues to train and trains with Goku very frequently. Once Gohan stops training, Vegeta starts training with him even more and they start to be friendly rivals instead of enemies. I mean, if you spend almost every day with someone for 7 years, you're bound to gain a strong connection to them. They are both capable of Super Saiyan 3, Gohan can use Super Saiyan 2. Since some of the other Earthlings want more power, other Sea Fighters get symbiotes. The two people who are willing to get symbiotes are Krillin and Piccolo. Piccolo receives the symbiote Lasha and Krillin receives a symbiote that is the offspring of Phage, which is called Mayhem. This symbiote also gets some extra modification from Bulma. This is because he asks and Mayhem agrees since she basically just makes the symbiote stronger. Mayhem is a special symbiote that I made since Riot never has an offspring. Mayhem after the amplifications becomes very strong and is on par with symbiotes like Carnage. Just before we get into the Buu saga, I'll quickly go over the rankings for the symbiotes. The weakest symbiote is Lasha. He's a new offspring and just isn't on the level of his father and siblings. The next weakest symbiote is Phage. Phage is only slightly weaker than Riot. Third place then goes to Riot. Second place goes to Venom, a pretty strong symbiote that doesn't have to rely on phenethylamine to survive. First is Mayhem, a modified symbiote and the grandchild of Venom. So at the World Tournament the event starts to change once Gohan steps up to face Kibito. Goten and Trunks don't receive symbiotes and their fight is as a result pretty much the same. Gohan is still attacked by Spopovich and Yamu, who drain his energy. Phage is smart enough to let this happen as they can track down the fighters as they escape. He is still quite drained after this event, but Phage makes this effect much duller. Also, he ends up getting back up to normal energy levels quite quickly. Goku, Krillin, Piccolo, Gohan and Vegeta, like in the canon, all fly off to help him. This time, Goku advises Videl to stay back at the tournament, being said to do so by Phage. Also, these 5 people all have symbiotes and so 5 symbiotes soar across the sky behind Supreme Kai. So, Earth has learned to form symbiotic relationships with Clintar's symbiotes, Kai says. This makes Venom quite excited as he says the name of his home planet that was destroyed. You know about Clintar? Venom asks, asking through Goku. Yes, of course, we watched that planet explode. There aren't many of you left, but it seems that you survived. Once they arrive, Dabra's fight with the group ends up being quite different to the canon timeline. All the Saiyans land and hide their symbiotes as they watch what happens at this mysterious spaceship. Then Dabra reveals himself and raises his hand to blast Kibito. However, Krillin blocks the incoming attack with Mayhem and is able to take the brunt of the blast. The smoke clears and Vegeta is the first most willing to take on Dabra. Spit flies towards him but he just swerves around it with amazing speed. Still in his base form and without the use of his symbiote, he kicks Dabra down to the ground. I must say now that Vegeta and Goku are much stronger than their canon counterparts. When Vegeta was just training on his own in canon, he wouldn't have been able to grow as strong as fast without a sparring partner slightly stronger than himself. Also, he has the symbiote to heal his wounds much faster and give him Zenkai boost in tough, bloody battles. Dabra can take this kick though. Vegeta's still in his base form and thus he can't output that much force. However, he screams and powers up into his Super Saiyan form. His power increases 50-fold and he then begins the battle again. His fist coats in his silver symbiote and then he punches Dabra into the rock beneath him. He creates a small crater with his single punch, but Dabra uses this chance to shoot its deadly spit. However, Riot breaks off a small part of itself to coat the spit entirely. Riot is smart enough to surmise that something must be off with his spit, since it would be such a weird thing to just do in battle. Just as Riot thought, something odd does happen and his symbiote turns to stone. What a power, Vegeta thinks, kicking Dabra into the air. As Dabra soars into the air, Vegeta's right hand coats across his skin and he launches his super big bang attack. This blast hits Dabra and creates a very large explosion, which even causes the other fighters to fall back. As the smoke clears, Dabra is nowhere to be seen and he has retreated to the spaceship. So, the rest of the fighters enter the spaceship and begin going down the levels. Vegeta in this continuity wins the rock paper scissors and is up first against Pui Pui. They travel to his home planet and since he has a gravity chamber back at his house, he has no problem facing him in his 10 times gravity. This time, Riot wants to get a go to battle himself, and so the tall, muscly symbiote takes form. This form scares Pui Pui, but he believes that he can still win since he is on a planet with stronger gravity. He powers up and charges towards Riot, who just creates 2 large spikes on his fists. He slashes Pui Pui twice, making him stand in place in shock. His movements don't seem to have been hindered at all. He then collapses one of the blades and slashes Pui Pui once again before launching a final white energy wave. The next fighter, Yukon, gets overpowered too by Goku. The fight that does change quite significantly is the battle between Gohan and Dabra. Gohan faces Dabra in the mountainous area that Babidi teleported them to, and Dabra is confident in himself. His confidence increases once Gohan fights him in his base form. He powers up and gains a cool silver aura as he towers over Dabra. What is different about his appearance is that he has muscle mass. He hasn't completely stopped training, and when he was 15 or so, he was even larger than he is now. Gohan charges in and throws a heavy hitting punch, but Dabra takes it head on and throws 2 quick punches of his own. He throws a kick to his stomach, but Gohan is able to remain okay as he uses his phage symbiote to block the kick. Dabra just flies after him, but Gohan aims up and launches his Masenko blast. Dabra gets hit with the energy wave head on, but he takes little damage from it. Think you're strong? You're nothing like that other Saiyan, Dabra confidently says. I'm not. Well, I haven't been taking this serious lately, but did you think this was the strongest I could go? You saw Super Saiyan, right? Gohan says. His eyes then go from black to blue and his hair switches to gold. His aura changes to that same colour too and he transforms into a Super Saiyan with a powerful roar. This form scares Dabra slightly, but he doesn't want to cower away and so he flies directly towards the Super Saiyan anyway. His first 2 attacks are very telegraphed and Gohan swerves past each of them relatively easily. After this attack, he's forced to take a punch to the gut and the Demon King is then launched away with a hook to the side of his head. He crashes through a mountain, but then Gohan continues laying out on him with his new power and then he encapsulates himself in his phage symbiote. He looks far more menacing now and Dabra can only imagine how much stronger he's become. He lands a single gut punch which is a jab, but Dabra coughs blood in reaction. He also curls over from the punch and Gohan just chuckles once he sees this. Looks like you didn't see anywhere near Vegeta's full power either. He could have killed you in seconds, Gohan says, swiveling to knock Dabra out with a back kick to the head. He hesitates before killing him due to his pure heart, just like his father, but he decides to do so since he knows that it's right. He powers up into his Super Saiyan 2 form and launches his Hyper Masenko attack. Dabra is killed in the blast and he returns to his base form. Your stamina has dwindled significantly, Gohan. I feel that you have lost a concerning amount of energy just after that one attack, Phage says. It makes Gohan a little bit sad to see that he isn't as strong as he used to be, but he knows that he has other ambitions now. Yeah, but I can't keep training at that level forever with this new life of mine. It takes a lot of time away from me, Gohan explains. You still could be doing a lot more than you do. Anyway, you are still strong enough to deal with threats like this though. Once Gohan is transported back to the spaceship, Babidi tries to take over Vegeta's mind. What goes different here is that Riot is aware of this and doesn't want to give in to the mind control. Vegeta, there is a magician attempting to warp your mind. I can easily resist this, Riot explains. Do what you must, Vegeta says, which makes the crowd a little surprised. What happened? Goku asks. A magician? I assume it's this Babidi you speak of to try to take over my mind. I don't know why. That kid already released enough energy to activate Buu. What a surprise, Babidi thinks, as the sealed ball opens. He transfers everyone in the ship and Buu to the outside of the ship so they can be defeated by the newly awakened Majin Buu. The fat warrior reveals himself and everyone is quite surprised by his appearance. Goku is fighting him first since he's the only guy that hasn't got a good fight yet. Venom, what's up with this guy? Goku asks, but Venom doesn't give an immediate reply. This being is known as Majin Buu. He was known and infamous on Clintar. He has a lot of the abilities of a symbiote and thus we were quite interested with it as a society. Symbiotes aren't the most benevolent people in the universe, but we know that Buu was not a good person. It has absorption abilities like us and it can heal from almost any injury. Venom's heard of the being before, and so he's able to give Goku some advice on how to defeat it. Also, it keeps him wary of just diving into battle rashly. So I'll have to face this thing at near full power from the jump then. Well, let's begin, Goku says, hyped up to fight. The rocks around him rise and float as he tries to power up. His eyes switch to blue as he ascends into his Super Saiyan form, but he pushes further and enters the Super Saiyan 2 state. His aura flows around him with lightning crackling inside of it. Next, his body coats in the Venom symbiote and his muscles slightly enlarge as this happens. Let's go, Goku shouts, zooming across the battlefield to then take on Buu. His first punch almost destroys its entire head, and he throws a few more punches before launching a bunch of ki blasts. Buu's shape becomes rather deformed after this combination of punches and ki blasts, but it returns to its ordinary state with ease. Goku then aims forward with a knee, but Buu dodges. To stop him, Goku launches out his symbiote from his left arm and it latches right onto his opponent. He is then pulled towards him, but the part of Buu that he is latching onto literally falls off his body so he can be set free. This part of his body then even tries to absorb Goku, but Venom does the same thing to save him. To kill that detached part of him, Goku blasts it to smithereens. What a weird fighter, Goku comments to himself internally, looking at the pink smiling warrior. So that will conclude the 9th part of What If Symbiotes Were in Dragon Ball. After the next part I will be going into Dragon Ball Super, then a few parts after that I'll probably call it. Then I'll do a Dragon Ball What If or a Naruto What If, since I've been reading up on the Naruto Shippuden manga recently. And I really would like to complete my first full story Naruto What If in the near future. Tell me something you liked about this video or something that I should improve on for the next part in the comments. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.